Hello everyone, we are live. Took me a few minutes to set up the broadcast, but hopefully, fingers crossed that it's working. And I hope this time all of you are gonna be able to reach the live on YouTube. I'm so glad if you make it live. If not, don't worry, because I'm going to make sure to save it. And this time I'm using StreamYard again because I just found it very easy to use, very handy. Excuse my messy hair. So yeah, I hope that you guys will be able to join. I'm gonna wait for a couple of minutes because I know it might take a hot second by the time you guys can join. Just checking my messages in case anyone had any difficulty joining. Let's see. Let us see what's happening here. This is how we are gonna look at the slides. I love about StreamYard the fact that you have these different settings. They provide this free platform, of course, by leaving there the logo, but I think that's the minimum we can do. I hope my mic works. I hope it works well. Just gonna bring it a bit closer. Here we are. All right, I think I'm gonna start because let's begin. So it's the Queen's Gambit Film Club, episode number 4. The title was Middle Game. And this is the Netflix show that everyone is talking about currently. And I'm not surprised because it was such a well-made show. And as an ex-competitive chess player myself, I found a lot of value in it. I just truly believe that the creators were really paying attention to how they created the chess tournament scenes, how they created a lot of psychological elements. So yeah, I just absolutely love this show. So if you do as well, then let's go and let's discuss episode 4 in a bit more detail. Now, I believe someone just joined there for a second. So if anyone is here, please drop me a hello in the chat so I see in the comment. And oh, sorry. I'm not gonna put it on the screen just yet. So during the title is called Middle Game. And in case somebody doesn't know, the chess game starts with an opening. So the opening could be anything really. It's essentially when we are just developing our pieces and we are creating a desired situation where then we can continue our plans and create more plans and strategies. In the middle game, it really shows how someone's knowledge is, because this is when you can get creative and you are really able to create certain positions in which you might want to sacrifice a piece to be able to checkmate the opponent. You might are more a positional player who is more like the slow stream method where you place your pieces in a desired positions. So like, for example, we know that the pawn chain is very important, or the rooks, how they occupy open files, or try to get your bishops on the big diagonals to have a say and have a little point at the king. So these are just a few examples. Mrs. Whitley, there is this scene at the beginning where Mrs. Whitley is interested to know what Beth was reading, and she said she is doing some pawn structure analysis. So at this stage, Beth understood that just to play with her genius is not gonna be enough on the long term, and that she truly needs to also do some studying. Alma's reply was, chess is not all there is. And then Beth says, it's what I know. So this conversation is interesting because clearly Alma doesn't really understand much about chess, and she sees Beth studying more and more, and she's kind of, sometimes I feel like she's a bit bored, or she's like she wants more entertainment and fun. So here on this image, the position that Beth is looking at is right on the next slide, which I'm going to show you guys now. So all the screenshots I took from, again, this excellent article from ChessBase India, and I will make sure to link it in the saved version in the description box, because the author really collects all the chess references from each episode. And now I didn't include into today's film club all of them because there were a lot, since Beth is gonna play in this episode in Mexico at a tournament, but I just picked out a few that I thought were nice and interesting. So you see on the screen that this is what Beth is studying as a pawn structure and game kind of thing. And the first image, this is the image that we see on the picture when she's looking at the book. And an interesting bit here is that, let me just go back on the slide. So here you will see how Beth has a piece of paper on the right side of the book, because she's covering up the answers so she doesn't see them. So she truly tries to get them herself. And I remember when I was learning chess, we used a lot of books, and this was something we used to do as well, to like just cover up the answers, because in many books the answer is right there next to it, but like you really just want to utilize the time and your efforts, so you just try to do it by yourself, basically. Yeah, and on the second image you will see that what's the like final situation. White wins the game, and we see that the pawn structure wise, Black has two doubled pawns, which we learned already in previous chess club sessions that doubled pawns are not really optimal, and White has a bishop in return as well. But if anyone wants to check this out, check it out in the article, and you can even play through the moves how White can win this game. We could overall say that Beth in this episode, basically her life turns a little bit into the mad and negative, because first of all, she starts learning Russian because she already knows that she will one day wants to play against Borgov, and she's soon gonna play against Borgov in Mexico, but she also wants to play in Russia at this big invitational tournament. At the same time, she starts drinking a lot, even using some drugs, and she, let's just say, she doesn't go down a positive path. She's also slowly graduates high school, and Alma gifts her this beautiful bracelet with a writing that says, "To Beth, love, mother." I just felt like this part was very emotional because you could see that their bond is getting really deep now, and Alma essentially has become Beth's mother, and she's kind of an interesting motherly figure, because as Beth knows, she has this trip to Mexico coming up with this invitational tournament, which is a huge deal, absolutely a huge deal, since the best players of the world will be collected there. While Alma is always supporting her, at the same time, she like kind of is like a small, like, I don't know, like a girlfriend in a way. She just wants to have fun. She's encouraging Beth to just relax, enjoy life a bit more, don't stress too much about preparing, and memories flood Beth at this stage. when Mr. Scheibel was kind of telling her that even though how talented she is very true, and no one can take away this from her, at the same time, it could be her downfall as well. Beth has a lot of anger built up inside her, which she kind of translates onto the chessboard, which is a good thing. So her play is usually quite like aggressive. She loves to attack. She loves to sacrifice pieces for winning, which is, it can be good, but sometimes you also have to learn. And I do say this on my streams, those who are watching my streams on Twitch. It's also important to acknowledge what might be your weak side and learn to improve on them. And all this pent up anger is basically because of her childhood. And I feel like we all can relate to this. Like, our childhood is very, very dominational, as so many things really form our following years. And since Beth didn't really have a fixed father figure in her life, and even the mother figure she lost her, and then it was, through the orphanage, and then now Alma is there for her. But overall, she really had a turbulent childhood, and you can see it on her personality, even the fact that she's reaching for drinks and drugs and boys and cigarettes and all sorts. Again, Alma is not really showing her a great example because she's drinking heavily as well. Then going forward, there is this scene where Beth and Alma are in Mexico already, and Beth is preparing for this tournament, and she is explaining her first game to Alma, how she won her opponent in 31 moves. And here, what also the author of the article mentions is, can you relate to the feeling when you are trying to explain your chess game to somebody who doesn't know much about chess? And it's like you get so excited to explain, and then I captured this, and then I did this and that. But when you, especially like parents, usually they don't know as much about chess. So it's so funny how you really want to explain to someone, but sometimes it's just they don't really get it, and that's okay. And the chess position is right on the screen. Again, from the article, you will be able to click through this game and see how Beth won. Beth was with the black pieces, and you can already see that basically queen to b2 checkmate cannot really be avoided in the next move. So the black queen to b2. Let me put my mouse there. Here. So the black queen moves to b2 checkmate. And yeah, let's move on. So again, just a snippet from another game from this episode. It's hilarious. This picture to me, because the guy literally seems like he's begging Beth not to destroy him. I don't know what everyone else is thinking about this, but totally he's like begging her not to destroy him, which is, yeah, it's interesting. But this game that they were showing in this episode, this also comes from a real life game that happened between Bernstein and Capablanca in Moscow in 1914. And from the ChessBase article, which will be linked below, you will be able to, again, look through the whole game. I left a screenshot there, but I just put this clip up because honestly, Beth have become this person who is absolutely now dominating the chess world. And as a female, guys take extra offense when they lose against her. Again, the mentality in the chess world, even when I was playing, it was like this. Like, for a guy to lose from a girl was a big deal. Shouldn't be like that, really, because I mean, we all have brains and we practice and we learn, and then whoever is best wins the games, or whoever has more luck. So anyway, during the tournament in Mexico, Beth keeps checking out Borgov's game, and she's also winning all her game one after another. So she's doing really, really well, but there is this sense how much she is dreading to play with Borgov. In her upcoming game, she's paired up with Gregiv, who is actually very, very talented young chess player, and he is gonna be a tough opponent. And he does actually seem like a tough opponent because they play for 5 hours when they have to put the game on hold. And Beth during the game even like uses small distractions to try to throw him off, which is interesting because until now she didn't really have to do that. Like, you know, her pure talent just came through. Remember when she played with Baltic and his yawning and his hair and like everything about him, he was using these distractions a lot. And to be honest with everybody, in the chess world, many people do distractions, and it's not very nice. But it is how it is. Chess is also a psychological kind of war zone there. So you can't blame anyone. People use different tools. I never like to use these things. Sometimes maybe something I would do is stand up and move and leave the board for a bit and leave my opponent to it. So because the players who play with each other, they also read each other's facial expressions, and it can be very, 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 very tough out there in a real chess game, because when we play online, people don't see each other, and people, you know, you are just behind the screen, kind of hidden. It's a very different experience to play a real tournament. So basically, Gregiv and Beth has to steal the move. So what that means is Beth had to decide there what her next move will be, and she had to write it down and give it in a closed envelope to the arbiter. And they went to sleep, and the next morning they continued the same move. Now, back in the day, this practice was very, very usual. It happened a lot, and nowadays it wouldn't happen because with the digital chess clocks and different rules, they made sure that the game would finish, even if it lasts 5 hours or 6, but the players would have to finish it. Now, of course, there are different type of tournaments. There are some tournaments where you only play one move per day, especially online, but I'm talking about like traditional tournaments here. So before the move was sealed, you will see the chess position on the screen. And the next day, the arbiter came and opened the envelope and made the move. And Beth was leaving so after the move was made, she left Gregiv there. She started walking around a bit, clicking her heels, which again, a bit of a tactic there. Not very sportsmanship-like, but oh well. And in the end, she did win against the guy. She did admit that he's the best she's ever played before, and he answered until you play Borgov. So again, this emphasizes Beth's anxiety about playing with Borgov, definitely. And here is the end situation. White has a winning position. The B and the A file pawns are about to head into the A8 and B8 squares, where they can turn into a different chess piece. So yeah, all right. As the big game, so as Beth has won the game, the next opponent will be Borgov. But here it's important to mention, a bit not chessy, but important to mention that in the meantime here, Beth's mom, Alma, meets a Mexican guy, or I think he's American guy, but he lives in Mexico. He does business and he really sweeps her off her feet. They go out a lot on dates. So you can tell that at this stage of the episode, Beth doesn't really have her mom as a support because Alma is always out and having fun. Beth is a little bit worried about her, I can tell, because she asks about him and Alma makes sure she meets him. She does meet him, but Beth has this like funny feeling to just keep an eye on her because they don't know much about this guy, and he even invites Alma on a trip for like just a couple of days. So I mean, at least Alma experiences love again. She's not super lucky with men, so I was happy for her to like meet somebody. While the chess tension goes on, this is also going on behind the scenes. And unfortunately, the way we know that the guy basically disappears from one day to another, and Alma is just basically like, well, what was I expecting? Like, this is what happens usually. And she was really, really disappointed. So I was feeling a bit sorry for her. But let's get back to the chess references. So the big game arrived, Beth and Borgov. So that's the first time that Beth plays against Borgov. And the opening scene will show, so you see these big demonstration chessboards. And back in the day when there was no technology like streaming chess or anything, there were these demonstration boards and somebody went in the room or they passed the moves through to the audience so the audience could follow the game outside. And I just think it's incredible that even when I was learning chess, even at some chess lessons, we were using these big demonstrational boards, magnetic boards, and you have the pieces you see and you can just like move them around. It's incredible how I remember all this. And to me, that was the normal. But nowadays, to you guys watching this, will be like, that's ancient. And it is a bit ancient, not gonna lie. So they did Sicilian opening, e4, c5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5, queen to b6, and a4. And then after this position, the scene jumped to the final part of the game. And it was again a game that actually happened in real life between Stein and Matanovic in Yerevan, 1965. And Borgov was with white, Beth was with black, and Borgov won the game with the move queen to f3. Beth resigned and she knocked her king over. She was really angry. And here she remembers the teachings of Mr. Scheibel, which was, he says, a good sportsman resigns when they see they have, either they lose the queen or they have no more chance. So that's what Beth did. And I mean, I was really sad for her because you know, she had all this tension around her. She was really preparing a lot. She understood that she had to make a change and she had to make sure that she also studies and not only relies on her talents. I'm just going to show you here. So the queen moves to f3, and that's when Beth resigned because basically black can't avoid queen to c6 or queen to b7 checkmate. If the black queen moves to e8 to avoid the c6 checkmate, then the queen goes to b7. if the black tries to check the king can just simply move away to g1, and the queen is blocked by this c3 pawn there to check again. So yeah, there was no chance. Even if the white queens were traded, Bath had two extra sorry, not Bath. Borgov had two extra pawns. So Bath had really no chance at all, unfortunately. So when the game was over, she was really upset and she was going up to her room angrily, where not only that, but she also found Alma dead, which was so sad. Like my heart was breaking because they were just about to bond. Alma was about to fall in love, which didn't work out, but fine. But like they were going on these tournaments together, and yeah, Alma was laying on bed and Beth was telling her what happened and she wouldn't answer. And that's when she realized she died. They were saying she died of hepatitis. Like we could already tell from previous episodes and even in this episode that she had this weird cough and she kept coughing a lot. But since she was smoking heavily and drinking heavily, kind of came to no surprise. So yeah, also they ended up with a huge bill from the hotel for all the drinks that Alma was consuming, and also Beth, of course. I'm sure she participated in the bill, but the hotel agreed to cover her bill, and they helped her to call Alliston, who is her adoptive father, in Denver to let him know what happened. He was completely cold and he was completely like he didn't care, which was so shocking. And Beth again finds herself alone, and after all this built up with the chess tournament and then her loss and the way she lost that game against Borgov, this was like again such a huge devastation. So this episode ended in a little bit of a downer situation, but you know what? I think this made it very interesting for us to continue and see, because Alma was such a huge help for her and she was really like supporting her in her tournaments. But now I guess Beth is over 18. She's a young adult now and she kind of has to rely on herself, which is scary to think about because we do know she has tendencies to drink and do things that are not very good for her. So this episode definitely began her downward spiral. And that's it, basically. That's the discussion. Now, I believe no one left a comment, so I'm not gonna spend a long time anymore on the slides, but if anyone watches this afterwards and has any questions or you have any observations, please do let me know in the comments, because I answer all the comments and I tend to notice them. So this was the Queen's Gambit Film Club, episode number 4. Here, number 4. And we still have, I believe, 3 episodes left, so we still have quite a few to go. So do let me know if you have any observations about this one below. And thank you so much for watching it. And don't forget to make sure to follow me on Instagram and on Twitch if you haven't yet, because I am active on those platforms as well. And I will see you in the next YouTube video. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye!